Stated in a newspaper article about an effort to take my life back in January, and at that time the Muslims denied it.
Why are they threatening your life?
Well,
the only thing that I regret in all of this is that two black groups have to fight and kill each other off. Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand. Really, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand. But he won't.
Your father have raised his hand and stopped these attempts which everybody knew were taking place.
Yes, yes. I believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in absolute control of his followers, Race of Islam, all during the life of Malcolm X, and at least for a year or two or more after his assassination. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad had no motivation to stop Malcolm from being harmed because he wanted to see that problem out of his hand. You know, it was a real problem. But I know one thing, that after Elijah Muhammad was free of Malcolm as a problem, as a person accusing and contending with him, he began to really suffer, I guess, some guilt that he didn't stop it, you know. I was at the table with them once, same big table that they used for dinner and also the conference table. After dinner, when dinner was served, there was a conference table. So we were sitting down, and he was sitting there after Malcolm's assassination, some months after the assassination. Sitting there after Malcolm's assassination, some months after the assassination. And he rested his hand on his head on his hand like this. He hardly ever would do that unless something was heavy on it, very heavy on it. He rested his hand like this, and he said, "I wish the boy hadn't been killed." On his hand like this. He hardly ever would do that unless something was heavy on it, very heavy on it. He rested his hand like this, and he said, "I wish the boy hadn't been killed."
He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers, proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning.
He would have been dead. He would never have lasted a year.
Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I would kill you.
To Miss Shabazz and her family, as I may have been complicit in words that I spoke leading up to February 21st, I acknowledge that.
And frankly, it ain't none of your business. You just shut your mouth and stay out of it. And frankly, it ain't none of your business.
As I may have been complicit in words that I spoke.
No, you don't understand. Like someone said, did you Muslims kill Malcolm? So the messenger said, and what if we did? He said, what if we did? So the messenger said, and what if we did? He said, what if we did? Damn counter. They came in the place where the man was preaching and killed him in front of his own followers. That's fearless men. Heard of anything like that? Don't you know if you scandalize a man who's loved and honored by the people, what are you asking for? You're asking for death.
Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. Because in the future, we're going to become a nation. And the nation got to be able to deal with traitors and cutthroats and turncoats. The white man deals with his. The Jews deal with theirs. Salman Rushdie wrote a nasty thing about the prophet, and Imam Khomeini put out a death thing on him, and it stands today.
And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane, absolutely out of his mind. Besides, you can't be 70 years old and surround yourself by a handful of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls and keep your right mind. You can't do it.
I want you to see women who are not cheap women, who are not low-life women, who are not cheap women, low-life women, who are not cheap women, low-life women. Told me to my face. That man knew what he was doing. He was doing, and God backed him in what he did. I would like to ask Sister Tynetta Muhammad, Sister Evelyn Muhammad, Sister Ola Muhammad, Sister June Muhammad, if you would please come up. Stand up and give these sisters their due.
I love Elijah Muhammad enough that if you attack him, I would kill you. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
He would he would never have lasted a year.
Elijah Muhammad told us, leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Told me to my face, leave him alone.
Yes, now, Elijah Muhammad called all of his officials, national officials, to Chicago in October and ordered them to kill or maim any of his followers who leave him to follow me. Well, when you say, how do I know, many of the brothers who were in at that time are out now. And if this ever come into the court, there are plenty of witnesses who can stand up and testify to it. Sir? Yes, I do believe there'll be further attempts on my life. I know them. They're foaming at the mouth. The rank and file Muslim means well. It's those at the hierarchy who are living off the fatted calf who don't mean well.
He would have been dead. He would never have lasted a year.
Yeah, I heard it. That was Elijah Muhammad Jr. And it was about, I would estimate about 700 people there at the time, plus officials in the Nation of Islam at the time from all over the country, security officials, and the captains of various mosques, their aides, and so forth. Yes.
Do you believe that that had anything or much to do with Malcolm eventually being murdered?
Probably so. I would guess so. Not to say that that was absolutely necessary or needed or something like that. I think that they came really because New York seemed to be slow in responding in whatever way it was thought that they should do.
Didn't see you there, brother. This is Leon Amir, who was Cassius Clay's secretary, whom they beat unmercifully up in Boston. And the court freed the men who beat him. They fined him $100, was it? Yeah, $100. Fined him $100, and he was on the inside of the black Muslim specialty squad. And I know it, and it was he who heard Elijah Muhammad Jr. come to New York when Elijah Muhammad was at the Armory in June of last year. Jr. stood up and told the fruit, many of whom are here now also, that I should have been killed, that my tongue should have been put in an envelope and sent back to Chicago by now. And because Fat Joseph had not done it, they demoted him. He remained captain, but Clarence up in Boston was put over Joseph. And Joseph's authority was curtailed. And then Clarence, the captain from Boston, and John, the captain from Springfield, came to New York to assassinate me, and came to him to get a silencer.
I think that they came really because New York seemed to be slow in responding in whatever way it was thought that they should do.
And it was he who heard Elijah Muhammad Jr. come to New York when Elijah Muhammad was at the Armory in June of last year.
He would have been dead. He would never have lasted a year.
Elijah Muhammad told us, leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Told me to my face, leave him alone.
Junior stood up and told the fruit, many of whom are here now also, that I should have been killed.
He would have been dead. He would never have lasted a year.
That my tongue should have been put in an envelope and sent back to Chicago by now. And then Clarence, the captain from Boston, and John, the captain from Springfield, came to New York to assassinate me and came to him to get a silencer. And couldn't get it. So the police know this. It's not something that's new. They just wait until the job is done and then they step in.
You carried through, yes. What condition was he in on arrival?
He was dead on arrival, and they took him into the third floor emergency room, and several doctors tried to revive him for about 15 minutes, and there was no response. They did all the emergency procedures that you would use in a case like this.
And couldn't get it. So the police know this. It's not something that's new. They just wait until the job is done and then they step in.
Stated in a newspaper article about an effort to take my life back in January, and at that time the Muslims denied it.
Malcolm, if you could be here today, as it was before he died, he was trying to get back and he was assassinated. If Malcolm were here today, I believe Malcolm would be standing with his brother. Did you make Malcolm? Did you clean up Malcolm? Did you put Malcolm out before the world? Was Malcolm your traitor or was he ours? And if we dealt with him like a nation deals with a traitor, what the hell business is it of yours?